Welcome to the Better Half Show. My name is Godman Akinlabi, PJ to my friends. On this episode, we're looking at what men want. Ordinarily, we spend a lot of time and energy on what women want, and we talk about their need for security, for emotional balance, for attention, and different kind of things. But what about the needs of men? Men also have a lot of needs. And some guys are going to be joining me on the show today as we unpack the needs of men. You don't want to go anywhere, so please just stay with me and I will be right back. Welcome back. It's a Better Half Show and we are discussing what men want. And I have some great guys on the set with me today. Here I have Presley Adewale. Presley is single and is going to come with a single guy's perspective to the discussion on what men want. I also have Adedeji Ashiru, who has been married for, about 17 years now, and he has 17 years of experience and more about what women think men want. And I also have Adeshola Balogun. Adeshola has been married for about 5 years. You said, yeah, about 5 years. And with all the three of them were discussing what men want. Let's jump right in. Adeshola,
yes, sir.
What do you think is the greatest misconception that, women have about men? Some women say, for example, all men want is sex. Give them sex and they're good to go and they won't give you trouble. Is that true? Is that correct?
I think that itself is a misconception. I've heard that. I've heard that in a quite a few circles, and I always make it a point of duty to dispel such misconception. Yes, it's important without a doubt, but
when you say it is, you're talking sex. Sex
yes,
is important.
sex itself is important, but it's not all there is. I've also heard that for us men, all we want to do is boss women around, have our way all the time. I personally do not believe in that. I personally believe in having my wife's opinion in almost every issue that pertains to me. So I think
you would prefer that your wife is able to participate and give you opinions and all that. It's not just about be good in bed. It's about just being a good woman around me.
True.
All right. So let's come to you, Presley. What is it that you don't want from a lady, from a single man's perspective?
For what a man does not want from me, if I want to speak personally, don't compare me to somebody else. Yeah, and generally, I think what a man does not want from a female is someone that you don't understand the reason why I even approach you in the first place. Like, as in, every guy wants someone that compliments him, ultimately. At the moment you are doing another thing, something else that is short of that, it starts to look at you as a hindrance, as opposed to someone that you can actually move forward together. You don't respect him. Because the worst thing that you can have with a guy is a guy that feels less of a man, or that feels like his ego has been bruised. So, ultimately, do not compare him to somebody else.
So, are there things you would take now that you're just dating and all that, that will be a no-no in marriage? Is there something that comes to mind? I can still cope with this now, but the moment we get married, it's a no-no.
Well, while we are dating, there might be a lot of things that I could take, but the moment we decide to commit, I need to step back a little bit. And if I may, I could also give an instance. There was this one time I was with a couple of my friends, and in this gathering of people, I had a friend. This is a guy that was dating a girl. Yeah, and just out of nowhere, the girl said, even when she does get married, she actually does not care where the guy presses the toothpaste tube from, center, middle, anyhow, it's fine. And my friend did not realize that this is the guy now, but I caught a glint in his eyes, almost like, oh, okay, she doesn't mind. This is babe already. Let's go and marry. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. So ultimately, you can tell that if she's there as a compliment and not necessarily a hindrance, it's fine.
Okay, that sounds lovely. Now, let's look at it from how do we communicate our wants without being domineering or controlling. Ladies feel that men are domineering, controlling, So Adedeji, what do you say to that? How do we communicate our wants, as men without being domineering or controlling?
Yeah, okay. I think one of the ways to do that is to also lead by example. I will give a typical example in my own house. I love everything to be where it should be. Throw pillow should be where it should be.
Well
everything
arranged,
well arranged.
yeah.
And when I come into my space, sometimes it doesn't appear that way. And what I do most of the time, I go to where the throw pillow should be and put it. And by my wife saying that, knows that this is what I want. But then I communicate to her, I don't want this to be here. This should be where it should be. Now she takes it with so much love that I don't just come into my space and begin to shout, rant, why do you put this here? Why do you put that there? I lead by example. I show.
I think
yeah.
it's also important to use the magic words always, please and thank you, because always communicate when to check if the mood is okay to, because I found out that a lot of times in trying to tell my wife some certain things, if I'm angry, she already feels I'm trying to antagonize.
So what you're saying is that men should read the mood of the women before they...
It's very important.
Is that a rule, or is just when you don't want to sound controlling? Because some men don't want to do all that. Why should I be watching a woman and be saying what's her mood? Anything I have to say, I just say and I move on.
No, I think it's a rule, so that things don't degenerate easily. You should always watch the mood before you drop. If you say there's some things you say that if everywhere is tense, it's taking in the...
So probably I would say to that that every man needs to be sensitive to the woman's emotion.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can't just boss the woman around.
Yes.
Once you try to do that, the woman will kind of repel.
And if I may, I'd like to buttress what both of them just said, because in a relationship, when two people are involved, it pays to be at peace than to be right. So ultimately, it's not necessarily about you being controlling, like say this is how it should be and it's done that way now. So you could actually communicate by saying, okay, it should be this way, I will do it first of all, so that next time you do it for me.
I love what you guys are saying. The only issue I have with this is that it's giving me a feeling like some of you feel your wife or your girlfriend is going to watch this show, so let me package myself and just, I'm struggling to believe that all these things you are saying will really work out like that, so what the mood of a woman before you talk, lead by example. They sound lovely. But in the heat of the moment, in a marriage, in a home, at work, when you're dealing with women, do we do this really all the time? Especially when we're trying to protect our ego. You don't want a woman to bruise your ego. You don't want a woman to feel like you are a man that, a sissy.
And less of a
man. Less of a man.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget all these things that you're talking about. So I really want us to be really frank and practical here.
Yes, I would say this. I think probably this comes with experience.
Exactly.
Probably at the beginning, initial stage of marriage, it could be throwing walls, trying to do things differently. But as you grow in marriage, you do a lot of things differently. Like, for example, in my house now, if I get offended, I get angry, I don't say anything. I just begin to sing. And once I start singing, my wife will say, "You're hungry." She knows that something's wrong. I'll just sing.
I love that. So that's your cue.
That's my cue. I just begin to sing. Okay. And that's it.
Okay. Now, just before we take a break, Shola, what's the worst thing that a woman has ever said to you?
A woman or my wife?
Anyhow.
I think for me, I think because if you call me selfish, because I would like to think of myself as a selfless person. I tend to put the needs of my family, my wife, my kids before I even address my own needs. So for anybody to say, "Oh, you're selfish," that will really hit me, because it's either you don't know the sacrifices I've made, or you're just ignorant.
So you believe you're a very sacrificial person,
yes.
and you know, the worst thing a woman can say to you is that you are a
You are a
selfish,
selfish person.
because you've gone way overboard.
Way
to
overboard to yes.
sacrificial, you know,
Yes.
and all that. Okay, from a single person's perspective. Okay, you want to say something?
I
to
mean,
that?
just to say something to that, you know, my wife told me that you are not caring, and I can't just believe that the Jashu is not caring, and I'm also sure that probably people that are watching this show would not probably believe it, you know. And I said, I've done this, I've done that. I begin to count, and she said, you are just generous. I said, what? Generous? But I have to open.
So generous is not the same as
Caring. You know, I opened the dictionary, you know, while she was talking and look at the meaning of
Oh, God.
caring, you know, and she said, when it comes to emotions, when I'm down emotionally, I expect you to sympathize, you know, but you don't do that.
Wow.
That for her, that's the definition
real
of
caring.
caring. That's the rating.
Yeah.
And I said, wow.
So just to be able to read me emotionally and do something about that moment. where-
Exactly.
Yeah, so
You
it's
know.
not just about the car or the lovely home or the gift and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
that
And I learned from that.
yeah, there's a lot to pick from that. I have to you know, go on a quick break, and when we're back, we're going to really dig in further. What do men want? We're going to look at it from different perspectives. So don't go away. Stay with me. I will be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Better Half Show, and we've been discussing what men want. And we want to take this discussion a little deeper. I would love to start, you know, with you, Presley. As a single guy, what would you want, or what do you wish a lady you are interested in would do for you, would know and do for you? Yeah.
Make me better.
Make you better.
Yes. Make me aspire to be more than I am. And
Are you trying to turn the lady to your source of inspiration?
of course not. Of course not. But the reason I say this is because personally, the way I grew up, I never really grew up around my mom. I didn't meet her till I was about 18, 19. So it was just my dad and my brother. Yeah. So what my dad did for us was he trained us to be quite independent. Yeah. There's never been a time where when I felt my age. I've always felt like myself by myself. All right. So when I meet someone of the opposite sex, the first thing I look out for is, do I feel like I can be more than myself with you at all? And there was a situation like this that happened in school. At the time, I had registered to be a part of the school radio, and I met this girl that was already working for the school radio. Now, I didn't realize that I liked her because I felt like she was inspiring me up until some months later when we would talk, we would go to read together, and she would just listen to me speak. Now, usually it's the other way around. I do the listening and you can say whatever you want to say. But because I felt like she was at a certain pedestal that I really admired, I just could talk and say whatever thing I wanted to say.
So you want to be
around her.
comfortable around a lady.
Yes.
You want a lady that will give you the opportunity to be heard.
Exactly.
And for you to just express yourself and
Exactly,
feel
yeah.
like you can fly.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right. Adeshola,
Sure.
what's the quickest route to a man's heart from your own perspective?
My first reaction would be say food, which is everybody's. But I
Food?
think yes, food. Food. I'm
Chicken
a,
and chips with dodo, precisely.
no, I'm a self-confessed foodie. I love food, but I would take it deeper and say respect, because even in the cooking and the serving, should be the underlying theme out of everything should be respect. Growing up, that was a big deal for us. My mom was the primary breadwinner at some point, because my dad was sick. But in all of that, she never made it obvious to everybody that I'm the one providing for the house, and it just clicked to me that because I would ask her and she would say, because I respect your dad.
So you feel like you're big on respect.
Yes, that's for me is key. You can't.
So let's put food aside.
Yes.
the quickest route to a man's heart
Is respect.
is
Most
respect.
yes,
Honor
yes.
him, respect
Honor.
him.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the word. Honor and respect.
That's good. That's good. So let's also look at this issue of, the cultural traditional man and what a cultural traditional man wants, especially from this angle of respect and all that. The times are changing. Do you think as men we should stick to our guns, or we should change with time, give women, some space to express themselves, not having to, be careful around us as men, and in the name of respecting us, or not wanting to bruise our ego? What do you say to that?
Well, I think it depends on how you define respect. When a woman is free around you, not necessarily mean that doesn't respect you. But that's something you can't take away from every home. Because God has made the man the head of that home. Therefore, there's still need for respect. But that does not make a woman to become a slave. I mean, my wife should to express herself, say her mind, and her view, and still respect me. I mean, it's when people begin to throw words at each other, oh, you are stupid, you are this, that's when you've lost that respect. But you can see in your view.
Okay.
I think it's great that we would come at this from this angle, because I imagine someone would see this and then start to think, because it's a default thing for ladies most of the time, when you say respect the man, the next thought that comes to my mind is, but he needs to earn it, you know. So I think I would rephrase it and say, be mindful of him, like pay attention to him. Of course, this is a milder way of saying respect and revere your man, but ultimately pay attention to the guy. Yes.
But so when we look at this issue of respect, I want us to flog it a little bit more.
Okay.
And let's take it out of the home. There's a stereotype thinking about how a woman should behave to a man, the respect and the honor and all that. When we get to the workspace, I mean, just imagine that a woman is your boss. You are married, you are home, but what level of, how should that relationship play out? Yeah, how should that relationship play out? How should that relationship play out? How would you want a female boss to talk to you, knowing that you're a married man?
In that one, you don't have your livelihood is at stake, so you have to respect yourself. you are the one that has to respect yourself. But I'll give you an example. Like I was talking with a couple of friends, and they said that the gentleman doesn't like his wife calling him by his first name. Like, I don't know how
so if his name is James, he doesn't want his wife to say,
never.
"Hi James, how are you doing today?"
So he for him that's respect. So he now expects that from other women, and I say that can't work.
So if you can help us with that, really, what that kind of man, what would he be like to be called?
I don't know, chairman. I don't know.
Chairman.
I think I need to jump in at that stage now. I think it's a cultural problem. And I will tell you why. I have 3 girls, beautiful ladies, and I just had a boy who's about 15 months old. And I named the boy after me, Deji. Guess what? Everyone has refused to call him Deji. They call him Chairman. They call him, the worst people are my wife's friend. They give him different name. Ade, A, because they don't want to just mention
your name.
Deji. For my driver, call him Mr. Deji.
That's interesting. Because he believes that there are 2 Dejis around here. So I have to be careful how I call this one. His livelihood is at stake. So that means this issue of name calling is a big deal.
Yes,
in certain homes.
Yes, it is.
So some people would not even want to call their spouses by their first name, and some ladies, just because they don't want to bruise the ego of the guy. And I think that's very traditional, an approach that is quite traditional. So what are you guys saying? We should move on from these traditions and rather just be contemporary.
I think
yes, I agree with you. My wife called me, even though she has a pet name for me, but she still called me Deji. You know, even despite the gap, the age gap, difference between the two of both of us, he called me Deji. You know, with no.
I believe those are one of the things that will aid good friendship,
True.
you know, and
Yeah.
all that.
Yes,
Because how do you want to build friendship with somebody that you have to be careful how you call
How you
them?
call
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
them.
So
Yes.
that sounds lovely. So this issue about how we want women to perceive us, or our wives or significant other to perceive us. Adeshola, what do you say to that? How would you want your wife to perceive you?
As a protector, these are things that I've communicated to her. I told her if it comes to laying my life on the line for you and the girls, I will do that gladly. So she knows, but sometimes, of course, she.
That's very emotional. You want to lay down your life.
No,
for
but
them.
but she knows, and I've communicated that to her. So sometimes she tends to overdo it. Like the littlest thing, she calls me, Mr. Man, can you take care of this? And I say, come on. But I like her to see her. I like her to see me as a protector, as a provider, as one that will stand up for her at any time.
That's lovely. So, Presley, from a single person's perspective, a babe out there who sees Mr. Presley Adewale,
Yes.
how would you want this lady to perceive you?
I'd go back to what I said earlier. Be mindful of me. Pay attention of me. The larger percentage of what any human being is dependent on what you have been through, yeah, before you got to where you are at that moment. So, if you can meet me halfway, if you can help me be a better me, yeah. If an issue ever comes up, yeah, give me a chance to tell you the why, before you aggravate whatever the what is.
So, what you're saying now is that I would love to be perceived by a lady
yeah.
as someone who needs attention.
More like as someone who has weaknesses, someone who is not perfect, yeah? So that way you and I can work to being better people for each
So
other.
you strike me as a man who is not the stereotype man who is macho. You want to come across as somebody like, I'm not perfect, I'm just a great guy, and you take me the way I am.
Yes, I think that's me.
That's powerful. Not many men want to be perceived that way.
Yeah.
Most men want to
Yes.
be perceived
Perceived
as,
that.
you know, the man is here.
Strong,
So,
yes.
and on that note, I have to take a break. I want you to stay with me. Don't go anywhere. It's getting very interesting, and you must be a part of this. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.